all the way from the 212 to you. It's your boy Jae Millz, and right now I'm rocking with my boy Breezy on 92 WICB. You already know how it's going down. Lego, Young Money.
92 WICB, it's your boy Breezy. I'm joined live on the line right now with Jae Millz. What's going on, Jay?
I've been cool, man. Just working out here in Miami.
That's what's up. The last few days have been very important for both Young Money and hip-hop. Of course, Lil Wayne was released from prison this past Thursday. What has been the atmosphere around Young Money and Cash Money the last couple days?
It's joy, man. It's joy and refreshment. You know what I'm saying? He's fresh home off of Rikers Island. You know, it's anything. It's not even more or less so Lil Wayne came home from jail. It's just like your friend, like one of your homies. You know, it's not more so somebody you work with. It's just like somebody you close with. They just came home from jail and went through like a rough part of their life. So it's just really joy and refreshment just to see them smile and be able to just enjoy life and freedom.
Definitely. It's definitely refreshing to have him back in the game. Just this past Thursday as well, you released your latest mixtape, The Flood Never Ended. What's the concept behind the mixtape?
The concept behind The Flood Never Ended is really just to keep up the consistency of work. That's just what I've been trying to prove this year. You know, with everything. You know, everybody always say battle rappers can't make records, and Jae Millz is only good for freestyles or battles. He should have kept battling. He should have kept doing that. So with Wayne going to jail, you know, Drake had his way of doing things, and Nicki had her way of doing things. Tiger had his way of doing things. So for me, the thing that I wanted to do is just more so just stay consistent. You know, just keep music out there, just stay in your face, and stay in your ears one way or another. If you're not hearing me, you're going to be seeing me. And if you're not seeing me, you're going to be hearing me. And if you ain't doing either one of those, you're going to read about me. You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like I did a good job with that. So The Flood Never Ended is that's the fourth part of the series of The Flood. I started at The Flood Warning, and I did The Flood, and I did The Flood Continues. And I chilled on the whole Flood series for a while. I did Dead Presidents and He's Still Nasty. That was the Virgo mixtape part 2. So now I'm back with The Flood Never Ended. So this is the fourth part of the series.
You know, as you said, you've been very consistent since 2009. You know, you put out these 8 mixtapes, and, you know, you have a strong presence on the internet as well. You know, every time you put out a mixtape, you have the songs, you have the videos. So coming from the era of the battle raps and the Smack DVDs, you know, when unsigned artists had to compete for their chance to shine, really, how is the internet now and your career now, how has the whole thing affected you, and do you think hip-hop in general?
Well, if anybody been following Jae Millz, you know, at the point when I came in the game a few years ago, it wasn't really, like, the internet wasn't as big as it is right now. You didn't really have, like, no World Star. You didn't have no Hot New Hip Hop or Dat Piff or AllHipHop.com. It was really none of that. It was kind of really just mixtapes on the street and radio play. Like, if you wasn't on the radio getting no spins, or you ain't have nothing going on in the streets, or you wasn't on, like, DVDs or whatever, you wasn't really hot. So you gotta understand, that's what I come from. That's, like, in my mind, to stay hot, you gotta do those things. And that was my problem for a while, because that's not really the way to stay hot right now. So if you could look at it like I took the Lil Wayne approach, the Gucci approach, or the Joe Buttons approach, like, you know what I'm saying? I remember people used to call Joe Buttons like the internet geek, or he was just like the ruler of the internet. And I used to always be like, why are they calling Joe Buttons like this, some internet guru? Like, he's just a regular spitter that's nice. Not saying he's a regular spitter, but he's a lyricist. Why y'all trying to put him in that category like he's just some internet guy out of nowhere? Joe Buttons could really spit. He really get it in. He really made quality records. So why are they trying to put him in some internet bubble like that's all he is, until I really paid attention to it? And it's like, man, the internet is a whole nother world. Like,
Definitely.
It's people that don't even listen to the radio no more, because they just go on the internet and find whatever song they want to hear and just play it all day. When they get tired of playing it, they'll just download it. So now they don't never got to listen to wait for the radio to play that record. They don't got to call the radio and request that record no more. They could just go to find it on the website and just download it.
Right.
I think that's just the whole turnaround of it.
Exactly. And you know, you did this Double XL video interview a couple weeks ago, and you said that the last few months have been a rebuilding period for you. So what have you done to rebuild, and why do you feel that the time is right now to rebuild?
It's just like you take a step back. You know, every few years you get that batch. You get that new batch of artists where you don't know who's going to be who, but they try to predict who's going to be the next artist. And it used to be the streets choose. Now the media chooses it, and the streets just have to go along with what the media put in front of their face. So that was my whole thing with the Double XL, and more so I don't like these because I don't want them to pop. It's just I don't know them. Like,
right.
It's just reality of the situation. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to nobody that was on that cover, but you can't get mad at me if I don't know you the same way I can't get mad at you if you don't know me. They just try to make it seem like I'm just an angry rapper that's been rapping forever and I'm just mad. And I'm like, what do I got to be mad about? Like, I just had one of the best years as an artist just doing it. Like, last year was like one of the best years of my life, just with the whole Young Money shit and touring and like the album and Every Girl in the World and Bedrock. I have no reason to be mad at nobody else that's coming in the game getting their light. But if you ask me my opinion, I'm gonna give you my opinion. So I just think I had to go back and I had to step back and look at that like, yeah, why are they making me out to be this type of because that's definitely not what I am. I'm a fan.
One of the things that I've been wanting to ask you, since your beginning, you worked with Ron Browse before Ron Browse was the name that he was. You worked with Scott Storch on My Swag as Scott was blowing up, and Cool and Dre, and a lot of these producers that are now superstars almost in their own right, but you had it first.
And that's one thing I don't understand. Like, people act like they don't know those records. You see how you just broke down, you worked with Ron Browse before it was Ron Browse, and you worked with Cool and Dre and Scott Storch and Khaled, and you had these names before you was really even with Young Money. People would still try to sit up here and act like they don't know that. Like, right. That's the crazy issue to me, but let me come out with a record tomorrow that's going to take the world by storm. Everybody going to be like, oh, Millz, he been doing records with songs. Yeah. But that's just the way the game go, man. So you got to take it. See, I used to just be thinking it was personal. I used to think people used to personally just hate on me and try to stop my shine, but nah, that's the way it goes. It's bandwagon hopping.
Between you being a veteran in the game and, mixed around with a lot of these new artists like Drake and Nicki, plus, the thing we talked about with Double XL, who do you think is the next people in 2011 to blow up and really have an impact in the game? Like, obviously, Vado, your close friend.
Yeah, of course my man Vado. You already know that. Wiz is big, Wiz Khalifa had a good year, you know what I'm saying?
Because even on your mixtape now, like, you got Meek.
The next name I was definitely about to say, along with Vado, along with Wiz Khalifa, you got Meek Mill, even though Tyga kind of came out before, I still don't look at Tyga. I don't really count his last album. Like, that was just like he a whole different artist now. So I definitely gotta go like with Tyga. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. There's a lot of people like Big Sean spit. I don't know, but I definitely with homie. It's a lot of dudes, man. I like J. Cole, but it's like I haven't really just gotten to the whole J. Cole world yet, but I can't really say I've heard something from him I don't like. But definitely shout out to everybody that's doing their thing and, like, still trying to get their fair due. Like, I'm still trying to get my fair due, like, if you really look at it, but I don't want to look at myself like I'm a new artist or nothing like that.
That's what's up. So what's next for you? And when can we expect your debut album and, everything that you're working on?
Well, for me right now, I did the mixtape thing this year, so I'm grateful for the support and everything I got from the feedback from the mixtape and the viral videos. And, I started the website this year, theforevermills.com. So, everybody will hit the website daily and just try to see what's going on with me. All of that just pushed me to this point, man, just to stay in your zone. Like, right now I'm working on the album. I changed it from Back to the Future. It's no longer called Back to the Future. It's now called Nothing Is Promised. And I'm really looking at, like, a summer 2011 date. Like, I think that summer is a good time for me, man. Like, I'm a New York dude. I'm from Harlem, in the city. And the summertime is just what it is. Like, everybody out, they breaking day, and sirens all night, and ambulance and trucks, and people just out there.
And now you're in Miami.
That's just what it is. Now I'm out in Miami, but I'm still in that. I'm really in a New York state of mind. Like, anybody that's an artist from New York could make a attest to that, and they could really co-sign that. When you record in New York and you're an artist from New York that you was born and raised there, that's all you know. So that's all your music is going to feed off of. And I just think right now, with this being my debut album, I don't want to just give you New York. You know what I'm saying? I want to give you Jae Millz. I want to give you my story. I want to give you my life. I don't have to give you New York. I done gave you that since the day you heard me. You know I'm from New York. Every battle you seen me do, I had it in New York, in the streets of New York. So I don't really have to force that upon you no more. I need to force my story upon you and like, more or less let you know who I am, aside from letting you know what New York is like.
Definitely.
You get all of that in my music. If you listen to my music, you'll know what New York is like. You'll know what Harlem is like. But I also want you to know what my story and my role was like to get to this point. There's most people that don't know nothing about Jae Millz, but every girl in the world in Bedrock.
Right.
And that's about the third chapter of my life.
Exactly. So Jae Millz, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you calling in. Congratulations on all your success. I know that you only have bigger things ahead of you, so just thanks for calling in. I really appreciate that.
Thanks, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you wanting to have this interview, man. I just appreciate the love. And shout out to everybody that, hit the website. If you haven't hit it, make sure you go to it. ForeverMillz.com. That's the word forever, and Millz, MILLZ.com. If you haven't downloaded The Flood, never ended yet, make sure you do that. Just go get The Flood warning. The flood still continues. The flood never ended. And just welcome home to Weezy, man. Just can't stress that enough. Just welcome home to Weezy. And just I appreciate your time, man. Just good looking. I appreciate the whole interview.
Thanks a lot.